All right, so welcome everyone to the weekly newbie coaching calls with me, Amir Khan. Um, I see a lot of new faces, but I also see people who've been around for a while. So nice to see you all. Today we're just gonna have question answers. So if you have any questions, you're a newbie and you have any questions, you can go into on your screen. If you're on a desktop, you should see a raise hand icon. If you don't see that, you should be able to see that under share, I believe, or react rather. So you can raise your hand and I'll call you in just a moment. Before I do that, just a couple of things. I do want to let you know that these calls are recorded and we have a place where these recordings are available. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen really quickly and talk about a few things. And I think I'm going to be doing this every week, so it's helpful for everyone. So number one, these calls, like I said, are recorded, and this is the link where you can see past recordings. Dreamprimehomes.com/slowflip SF dash newbie dash coaching. And then I also want to talk about newbie learning pod. So for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a new program that I started, and the purpose of that program is people who have gone through the entire training in the Freedom Accelerator program, but for some reason are stuck and not able to buy their first slow flip. They do have to have at least funds for their first slow flip. And if that is you and you're willing to do the work, it is an accountability group and you can apply for it and you can join that group. There is no cost of this program. There is a volunteer who runs the program, and we'll probably going to have that on a rotational basis. This is the link where you can, it's a posting on school that I did that explains the program, and below there is an application form. So if you complete it, it's on a rolling basis. Like I said, they are 5 spots only, and as people are buying their first slow flip and filling them up, they're exiting the pod and new members can join the pod. So go ahead, if you're interested, you can go ahead and apply over here. I also have a free private money lending course that I did a while back, and there's a link for that. So if you want to understand the basics, it's a 10 module course that I did. All right. And then finally, I do want to tell you guys about this. I've been doing these calls for a while now, and there are quite a number of videos that are uh, in the link that I shared with you. There's a whole bunch of videos that are there. These are the top 6 videos that I feel if you're new and you want to get good at slow flips, I would recommend especially go through these 6 videos. The first one is the very first one. If you go to that link that I showed you all the way down, you'll find this video. It was done in August 15th, and it explains to you the entire slow flip process sequentially. So from the very beginning, how what you should do first, what you should do next, and so on and so forth. That's the first video. The second video that I did was running soul comps. So, if you're not good at that, this will really help you. I also did one about running rental comps in August as well. And then top 10 closing checklist. So, again, if you're new to slow flips and you're not sure what are the things that you should know about the closing process, this is a good video for that. And the next video that I did was all about property valuation. So if you weren't sure how to figure out the value of a slow flip, this is the video for you. And finally, there's another video that I did about tenant buyer management communication. A lot of people get lost and are not really sure how to communicate with their tenants, and they get frustrated and they're chatting with them and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of did a video on how I manage my tenant buyers. And so that's those are the 6 videos I would recommend you watch if you haven't watched any, but these are the 6. I've done quite a bit more than that. So that's all I had. Like I said, if you haven't, today we're just going to do question answers. So if you have any questions, go ahead and raise your hand. I'm just going to bring it back to this screen so you can see that. Again, the recordings are this link right here. learning pod. There's a link for that, and then the free PML course that's out there. So I'm going to leave this on for a few more moments. Uh, First question, Major, how are you, sir? Give me just one moment. Let me unmute you from here. Host. I don't think I can do that while I have this up, so I have to stop sharing my screen and go ahead. Major, you should be able to unmute yourself now. There you
There
go.
we go. Thanks.
How are you?
Well, I would have waited till everybody else had questions, but since they didn't,
No,
um,
no. Nice to see
and
you. Where have you been?
yeah,
I missed you.
yeah, yeah, I missed out last week. Sorry, but yeah, and I see questions in the chat too already going. But like, I was gonna say since it's question and answer, and I see a lot of new people. Um, maybe we can pull, and I don't want to like bash anyone's property, but like, can we pull an available deal and just kind of like run it down for like so people are always looking at the deals in the group, and I know you practice teaching people in here about finding their own like show them how to do a deal that's available in the group um from the available deals. Is that possible?
So are you saying that me live go into the available deals and
Yep.
then talk about those?
Yep, exactly. Like,
I
oh,
don't,
I
I
love
don't,
this
I don't, I
property or
don't.
not, but
Let me tell you why I don't think that's a good idea.
hmm
Because you know I have a specific way on how I look at deals, right? So I have my
yep.
own criteria. The problem with that is that means it's opinionated, right? It's my opinion. That doesn't mean it's correct, right? So if I give an opinion on somebody else's deal, I don't think that
Mhm.
person may like it, and so I don't think it's a good idea, unfortunately. But
Okay,
I
okay.
but you can see when you watch my videos, especially on valuation, you know that you've seen me talk about it. So what I think about how you should value the properties and how I think a lot of properties that do come are brought to the forum by wholesalers are actually not good deals. But that doesn't mean that you have to pay what is the asking price, right? You should just do your numbers and you should offer what you think is the right value. That's pretty straightforward and simple. But if I did that, I think somebody would not like it. So unfortunately, I don't think that is a good idea. But I hear your thought. I know people
Mhm.
would like to get did I understand you right, Major?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew you probably might have been a little hesitant to do it, but anyways, I know Jenny's got was asking one in the group, and I think you could help answer that one about finding. Yeah.
Yeah, they can ask questions about not about a specific property, but they can say, "Hey, there is a property, and these are the issues. This is what the pricing is. I did my analysis. What do you think?" Based on that, I can give an answer, but I can't, comment on a specific property listed by a specific wholesaler. Does that make sense? Cool. All right. Hi, Jenny. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Hi. What's your thought on, especially like in our group, speaking of our wholesalers, lots of these rural Illinois, Mary and I were just chatting about it, but just curious. I've been a little bit hesitant to buy, 30 to 60 minutes away from like a midtown to large city. Um,
I think you are frozen. I can't hear you or see you. Okay, how about we come back to you, Jenny? Okay. Pablo, go ahead, unmute yourself, please.
Good evening, everybody.
How are you?
Can you hear me? Good, good, good. Yeah, so I just signed up like 5 days ago, and I've been watching all the videos on the Freedom Accelerator. Is that link you just put in? Is that in the Freedom Accelerator? Those courses that you have? Is that in there?
Say that question. I'm not sure I understand.
The classes that you got for newbies, is that in the Freedom Accelerator? Or is
No,
that
it's not. It's not. And the reason is that I am volunteering to do these calls, so I don't work for the Freedom Accelerator program. So my that's why my videos are actually on my website.
All right, so I gotta get your website things. I don't have
Yeah,
the.
yeah. So I put up the link. I'll put it up towards the end of the call as well. And the URL is there. But if you go on school and simply search newbie coaching calls, there's a lot of listings that I did, and all of them have links to the recordings. And
Uh,
I think
uh,
Major just put it in the chat for you.
okay, so my question is now. I mean, they suggested me to like look at least 100 houses. Look at
Hmm.
100 houses and kind of get a feel of it. How would I get started? For an example, I understand you know find a lender. You can find there's lenders. I mean, there's information about finding a lenders, but like financially, like how much would I need to start? Like when I talk to a lender, what are the requirements? What would it take? You know what I mean? I know when you go to a traditional, like I've done real estate investing, I've done buy and flips, but I never done slow flip. This is all brand new to me. So like how do I go about like lending? Is it like, you know, going to a regular lend? I mean, because the lenders I've dealt with in the past, they don't lend, you know, that 40, 50,000. They don't lend that little. So
Right.
what are the requirements? Or like how much down payment would I have to put to start if I get a 30,000, $25,000? Like how would it work? Yeah, how would it work?
Yeah, that's a good question. So that's a good question. And so sounds like you are experienced real estate investor, which is great. So you understand the fundamentals. So the first thing you have to understand is correct. You are correct in understanding that the traditional lender who does maybe hard money or lends for fix and flip is not your actual lender that we will call the private money lender. Our private money lender will be doing a loan for $30,000. So our most of our homes are in that price range, 30,000 or less. And what they're going to give you is a private. This is going to be a private individual who will loan to you. So you're looking for somebody who's not a professional lender. Do you see what I'm saying? So you are looking for an individual who is just could be a normal person who has savings accounts, who have retirement accounts, who is, just looking for a better return from compared to what they're earning right now. So there is a whole module, not just one module. I've done some presentation, and of course, within the Freedom Accelerator program, there are whole modules on private money lending. So I would go through those again and try to understand that first, so it'll be good. So for you to start, you have to have, yes, you have to have your financing lined up. So whether you're going to self-finance it or you're going to find a private money lender who's going to finance it for you, you do need to have that done. In most cases, these are 100% financing in the sense that they are going to upfront the entire purchase price and maybe even the closing cost. So let's say you find a home for, let's say, $27,000, and you borrow $30,000. So, it pays for the closing costs and miscellaneous costs, plus you have a little bit buffer. And so that's what I would look for. So that's the amount of money you need. And now, if you don't have a private money lender and you don't have funds to buy your first slow flip, yes, you do. You are kind of in a fix because how will you buy it? You people have in our community have bought it in many different ways. People have taken HELOC loan on their home, right? As long as the money math works out. So, for example, how Scott teaches us, if you're borrowing 30,000 at up to 12%, your payment is amortized over 5 years, going to be 667.33, right? The thing is, if you get a HELOC, it's probably going to be better rate, right? So that's not a bad deal actually. If you get it at 8%, 7%, that's pretty good because the way Scott teaches us, the kind of homes we want to buy, they should rent at a good number. So if you buy it at 30,000, they should be able to rent at 800 plus, ideally. And if that happens and you borrow money at 12%, you should be able to buy that deal and make it a good slow flip.
No, I mean, I understand that part. What I'm saying is, like, would there be like, for example, I've done DRCS loans. Do you have like, I don't know. I mean, there's many of them. You know, I worked with one. Would there be maybe I don't know if there's contacts that do DRCS loans on that type of amount? Because I mean, I understand. Talk to friends, talk to family members. You know, look for lenders. To use, to borrow on these low amounts. Is that what you mostly suggest? Is like people that we know, or like is there like money. There's people out there or banks that would lend on these amounts, with real estate backing it up.
Yeah, so like I said, that's not going to work for many reasons. Number one, of the amount right out the front, $30,000, way too low for most banks to actually lend you. Number two, most of the banks won't lend you if it's a real estate loan. They won't lend you unless you have an appraisal and inspection. And the kind of homes we buy, they're not going to pass inspection,
Okay.
right? So that's why that you. So don't try to uh, complicate this. Is very simple. It's a very simple method. It is more complex, but if you get it right, it's actually very simple.
Okay. All right. Because I mean, like when I say like for down payment and all, I have all that. Like I got my credit's great. I have some some funds. I'm coming into some money in the next month or so. Like to get started. It's just like my whole thing now is about financing these like who would I go to? Like I mean, I know you guys talked about maybe some people that are not banks, but I mean, um yeah, that's kind of like where I'm kind of like trying to figure out, like, not, I can't really say I have personal family members that could fund me there. We don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like the only one in my family that's really like made it out from where I came from. So I'm basically got to find a community or, I just don't know how to go about the whole financing part. Like, if I find a deal, like, all right, who do I connect with? But I guess maybe in the newbie videos and maybe asking in the chat, I guess. I
No,
mean,
I think Major can put in the link for you to go into the main modules. They are more than one. I know that Scott has done on financing on private money, and he's done very detailed ones. So I don't know if you've watched those. I would watch those.
okay, I'll do that, and I'll look for and I'll copy your link now that I'm here now. Yeah. Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you.
you're welcome. Patrick, go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Hey guys, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Good. Yes.
All right, very good. So I'm also new to the program, like 5 days in. I've just
Welcome.
been spent the last couple days just soaking it all up. I had read Scott's book already, so I understand a lot about it. So I'm starting to research some, Midwest areas, Illinois in particular. It seems like a lot of people do business there, so I kind of wanted to just go with an area that we know works already. But I'm starting to research whether or not I go toward like a larger city, like near St. Louis or something, or an hour away from there. There's a lot of little small towns that look pretty good around there. I was just kind of wondering because I've been looking through Facebook Marketplace a lot, and when I look at like St. Louis, I stumble upon like 50 listings that are all people that I can tell are in this group, and I'm
Hmm.
like, is that too much? Or is it like, I don't know, do I want to go somewhere where there's only one listing from somebody else that's in the group, like to have less competition? Or I don't know. I'm just struggling
Okay.
with that a little bit.
So when you say you're looking at Facebook Marketplace, you're looking for properties to buy?
I mean, a little bit of both. Yeah, I'm just kind
Okay.
of researching what stuff's going for, what's listed, what's available, just I'm just trying to settle on like an area to pick. Like this is where I'm
Yeah,
going to focus on so that I become like an expert in that.
absolutely. So Facebook Marketplace is just one place. You have MLS system that could be Zillow, it could be Realtor.com, right? Which is a huge database of whole bunch of cities. So that's another place. So you don't have to just look at one place and think that so many people from our community are there, and that's the reason why. So I wouldn't worry about that. Plus, we also have what we started with talking about people within our community are wholesaling. The only caveat on that is that they're finding good deals, but when they bring it in, of course, they want a small piece of it. So, it's marked up a little bit. It's both ways. You got to look at it this way. They've done the hard work of building their network, finding the right deal, and bringing it out for you. So it saves you time. So you could do that. You could, negotiate the best price that you can from those people and buy from them. So there's many ways. So yeah, I think your main question is you feel that in some areas you feel there are a lot of people in our community. I would not worry about that unless you're talking about a really, really small place. Um, you know, but there's so much inventory out there. There's so many cities that we are in. You really can't say that, oh, it's saturated. That's not going to happen. So I wouldn't worry about that.
That's good to know. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time on school looking at the available deals and stuff. And there's been some on there that I've been really tempted to like pull the trigger on, but I'm like, I'm 5 days into this. Like I
Well,
need
so
to do
that
I need to do what Scott tells me to do and do my research first before I do something impulsive. So
Exactly. Exactly. You're absolutely right. So I'm telling you, the best thing you can do in our program is look at 100 properties. Now, when we talk about 100 properties, I think some people don't understand this right. 100 properties doesn't mean 100 properties in all cities and all areas. It means 100 properties in one market. So let's say you said, okay, I'm going to look at Toledo, Ohio, and I'm going to look at Decatur, Illinois. Those are two markets, right? You need to look at 100 properties in Toledo, and then you need to look at 100 properties in Decatur. Do you see that? You're not looking at 100 properties in both areas. So that's one thing. Once you look, that's the best thing that you can do. You can talk to anybody in our community who's been around. That is the best advice anybody will give you. And that's the best thing that Scott teaches us. And it sounds like it's an overkill, but I'm telling you, that is the best. Because after you look at 100 deals, when you look at a bad deal, you'll know this is overpriced. Same as condition. When you look at a property in really bad condition, you'll know because you looked at 100 deals in that market that you'll know that this is not an average condition. This is below average condition. But you cannot make those judgment at this stage, 5 days in. You see that?
yeah, I
My name
also
is
need
Rick.
to
I
just
got your
get
name and number on the website here.
oh,
Am I calling
somebody
it a
else
good
on.
time here? Do you have a few minutes to talk?
Um, I've also just
Oh,
been,
sure.
doing my
Yeah, so I
research, and
got
it's
a
hard to get
list
out of
of properties here.
Jersey mode because
I see
I
one.
live in New Jersey and everything
Uh-huh.
is just insanely expensive. Houses that are $30,000 out west are like $300,000 where I live. So it's like
Right,
I need
right.
to just, readjust my expectations, you know what I mean? It's
No,
crazy.
no, absolutely. Take your time, go through the training, and just be active on the forum, ask questions, and absorb everything. You'll feel it after a while once you look at 100 deals in a market that you'll get a feel of it. Okay, I actually understand the market. In the beginning, I think one of the challenges are which areas should I go into? Well, that's also another thing that you can do in the market is, look at the people who are buying. When people in our community post, hey, I bought a property, good news, blah, 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 right? That's the best time to ask them questions about the market. Hey, would you mind answering a question or two? You can DM them. A lot of people will just answer your question. DM them and say, hey, congratulations, you bought a property, you got it filled. I'm very happy for you. Do you mind if I ask you a question or two? So that's your way of getting more information about that market.
I like that. I also think I'm going to apply to your pod thing so that if I'm looking at
Yep,
a deal and I think it's a good deal, that might be a good way to, present it to somebody else and get a second opinion on it. Did I analyze this right or am I
absolutely.
off base? So
It is accountability group, but there is a requirement that you have to finish your training before you join it. So make sure you've gone through all the modules. Because what might happen is if you join and everybody has finished the modules and you haven't, and what they're talking about are things that are already covered, and you're kind of behind because you haven't done those yet. You know what I'm saying? So one of the requirements to join the pod is you have to have finished all the modules, all the training. So take your time.
understood. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Hey, hi, Nicole. Oops. Where are you? I think we lost Nicole. All right. Does anybody?
Oh, I'm here.
I
I'm
can
here.
say, oh, there you are. Go
I
ahead.
forgot to unmute myself. My bad. Good evening. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. So, thank you very much for catching the address for me on that
Uh-huh.
private
Private money
lender,
lender.
private money lender scam artist. Actually, after that, I was so upset because I was Googling and Googling and Googling, but like other similar names kept coming up with good reviews. But then I was like, why isn't this coming up?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was odd right away. And in fact, the first time I went to write the post in the school, I had said, "This sounds
Nicole,
good to
Nicole,
be
hold
true."
on a moment. For
Okay.
everybody's benefit,
Oh
I
yeah,
want to
go
tell
back.
the
Let me explain what
backstory.
happened.
Yeah,
Yes.
let me just tell everyone. So for everyone, so that you know, because this is one of the most important thing for all of us, right, is to find a private money lender. And Nicole is still relatively new, and she was looking for a private money lender on Facebook. And so we all know there's a lot of scam on Facebook. And so she it came across a posting, and she actually did post about that in school. So we're talking about that.
Mhm.
So now, Nicole, go ahead and explain what the
Yes,
posting said, their posting, what did they say, and then your
correct.
experience.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I should have did the backstory.
That's okay.
Um, I was actually just scrolling in like Ohio investment groups, because just poking around just to see. And I came across this um gentleman, Cole. I want to call him gentleman, but he's not. Cole Bernard, and he
If
had a
that's his
very
name.
that's the name, that's the claimed name.
Yeah.
It was a very simple, straightforward post. So I was like, okay, and it was like private money lender, lend at 6%, um, and like no money down, like
Mm,
no, not a lot of backstory, like just a simple, direct, I will fund you. And I noticed there weren't a lot of comments underneath it, but I was like, okay, let me DM him. So I DM'd him, and and then he started asking me. We were going back and forth. Some days passed, and then he texted, and I texted back on Facebook Marketplace Messenger or Facebook Messenger to say. And he asked me like about the property, how much do I want? And I said, well, no, we pay 12%. I said, I'm part of a group, we pay 12% over amortized over 5 years. And then he was like, how's your credit and stuff like that. I'm like, my credit's great. What's the number? And I told him, I gave him a like whatever. And he was like, okay, I can do 30,000, 6% over 5 years. And I thought to myself first, like, why would you, if I'm telling you to give 12, why
yeah.
are you giving me six? That should have been the first, and it was the first. And I was like, okay, well, maybe he's like, older because it's like a gentleman. The picture looks like a young older gentleman, but like kind of young at, fit and all that. So I was like, okay, maybe he's like in that generational stage where they're giving back or he wants to be helping people out. So I said, okay. Then he said, oh, but there is a $1,000 origination fee that must be paid before he gives the loan. And
Aha.
and that for me, it did ring. I was like, that is odd because I was going to put in school, this sounds too good to be true. But then I was like, well, maybe not. Then I kind of talked myself out of it and put, well, let's see how it goes. And I said, how do I know that, because he was asking me, and I said, how do I know that you're legit? Pardon me, but how do I know you're legit? He's like, oh, everything's through my website, and you can go there, just upload your application, and when you do it, let me know so that I can do whatever. I said, okay. So I went to the website. I didn't look legit. And I said, okay. So I started to put information in, and they wanted me to upload stuff, and I didn't have like a utility bill.
Mm.
So I went into school in between, and I said, and I put stuff in school. I put in school, hey guys, possible new private lender, and this is what it is. And then immediately, thankfully, that people were paying attention. They were like, this doesn't sound legit. This is cool. And Amir posted, which I hadn't looked at, the contact information, which they had the address, and it was like a empty lot.
Yeah, and if you put it in Zillow, it's a new construction home, and it still doesn't show on the map. So, and
And
they've been that's one of the first thing you can check. But let me clarify, the origination fee is not something that can break a deal if that is paid at closing. Okay, that could be cost of the loan. So that is
and
not bad. right?
And I had asked him, do I
Mhm.
pay this through the title company?
Mhm.
I did ask him that. And then he said, it is no, it's paid through the site and it's paid before I paid. And
Yeah.
inside, I wasn't feeling comfortable about
Right.
it. So I put in the group. By the way, put in I Googled the address. Since you had done the address, I'm like, damn, I didn't even think about the address. And it had an address in Fort Myers.
Mhm.
It had another address on the contact list that was in DC, which was also like a desert lot
Mm.
somewhere. And its phone number was a Miami 305 number. So I was like, hmm. And I never even called the number. So
Yeah.
then I said, then I was like, I went in Sunbiz. I can't remember if I Googled the address, but the address came up in Sunbiz, which is our Florida LLC, like the
Mhm.
government would apply for your LLC. And another LLC name came up with that address. So I was like, this is too many moving,
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. I haven't really responded. No, actually, I reported to the FTC. That's what I did.
Mhm.
I went to FTC and I put it in. I said, this is sounds suspicious or whatever. And because I was mad. And
Well,
texted
I,
me since then, you haven't submitted the application. And I was just like, you didn't get my information just to make sure he didn't get my social and all that I had put in there. Because then I went and froze everything
yeah.
just to make sure. So I mean, I don't know. He's asking me like, you didn't send your stuff, and I've just been like, oh, I did. I thought I put some information there, but
Yeah, so this is for everyone, right? For everybody. They are people like this looking for people like you. They know that there are people who are a little bit newer in real estate and they are looking for loans like this, and they'll make it sound too good to be true.
right,
And just a little bit digging, looking at their phone number, looking at their address, looking at the website for details. Most of these are made overnight. The websites are really done very quickly. They have stock images. As you go through the website, you'll very quickly know that, there's something off about it. And but anybody who asks, Scott says it, and please remember, never ever agree to pay anybody ahead of funding. That itself is the biggest red flag. But that's fine. You caught it and you used the community. That's the thing you did, and that's perfect. Don't worry
thank
about it. There's a lot of these, and you're not the first one, by the way. There've been other members who have gotten stuck with some other people, especially on Facebook. It's a known scam, unfortunately.
like they take all that energy to make a proper looking website. I'm like, you can go get a real job. Like, what is wrong with
Yeah.
you? Go get make a. I was so mad, but anyway, um, yeah. So that's what it is. I had started after I did that. I'm like, I texted in Messenger one of the community members that had a house for sale, and I started making offers. Like, oh, well,
They
how
got
about
excited. I'm ready to go now.
I'm
I've
ready
got
to
the
go.
loan
I
lined
got
up.
me a lender. Let's go. And then I'm like, maybe not next time. But anyway, but thank you, Amir, for responding
Sure.
so quickly. And I don't know if anybody in here I can't remember the name. I feel like it's a John or somebody that texted. I really appreciate your response. That helped me a lot.
I'm glad. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate it, Nicole.
You're welcome.
Hey, Major.
Hey, Jenny texted about her question to get asked, and
Uh-huh.
it was a good one. So I said, yeah, I'll ask. But about experience filling in, say, small towns. So maybe you can talk a minute the difference
Yeah.
between large and small.
That's a very good question, and I think that's what she was asking, but I wanted her to finish it. So I before I actually tell you what I feel about it, I want everyone to see. I saw a small clip on Facebook, so I'm assuming it's a Major. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was Joey, our Joey from our community, talking about this
Hmm.
specific topic. And he says he does it all the time. He's not afraid. He'll buy homes where there's as few as 600 people. You know the clip I'm talking about.
Yeah, it just came from the 2-day challenge
Yes, exactly,
last week.
exactly. I saw it on Facebook. So that's his opinion on it. And of course, he's very successful, and so you should also listen to what he's saying. My thing is, I just I don't feel comfortable for myself. I would not buy in a city that is that small. I see myself struggling with boots on the ground. How you going to have somebody go out there taking pictures, managing the process? Plus the fact that there's 600 people in the entire town, and if you have a vacancy, what would it take to get it filled? There's 600 people. It's good and bad. I mean, you would think that, oh, maybe there are not enough houses in that market and anything that comes in, people will get it. Or it could be the other way around. They're just a whole bunch of vacant homes out of those 600 homes, right? And it'll never get filled or something like that. So I would never do that personally, but Joey does it all the time. And there are other people in our community who do it all the time because you can actually find really good deals at really good price in very good condition in these smaller markets.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. Hopefully that answers that question. Mike, go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, Amir. So one of the things I was kind of curious about is when you did your presentation where you showed how you got your private lenders using the LinkedIn ad to the custodian of the self-directed IRA, and then ran it to like the doctors and the IT professionals. Is there a way to do that with, kind of like how Nicole was like out searching on Facebook, or do you think LinkedIn is the platform to connect with those type of people who see 12% as a big benefit to them?
Yeah, that's a good question. So let me actually clarify. I think there's a little miscommunication about the LinkedIn thing. What happened was, and I'll try to make it as short as possible. All right. So what happened was, one of the first time when I actually created my own system through which I bring in private money lenders to my system, my portal. Scott was interviewing me, and that LinkedIn was one place where I placed ads for my strategy. So that's not the entire strategy. That was just one place where I placed advertisement. And that advertisement, there was a specific goal for that advertisement was to bring in people to the workshop. So that is one of my main strategy. So my strategy is that I do educational workshop in collaboration with custodian and administrators of self-directed IRA. So these are very large companies, a couple of $1 million to $4, $5, $6 billion companies. So I work with, I'm not their vendor or anything like that. I have a collaboration status with them, which means I've been vetted by them and I do educational workshop for their clients. So it's their event. I am a guest on their event. And so this LinkedIn was an ad on my side to promote that event. So I hope that answers the question. So it's not a standalone strategy to advertise. It's very expensive, by the way. So I wouldn't recommend that advertising in LinkedIn.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was just seeing if you can actually like find those doctors and IT professionals with just like a regular LinkedIn sales navigator, or if there was like a smaller scale way to do it where you're not like dropping the 3K in ad spend to drive all that traffic to the self-directed IRA people.
Again, you can test it. I've tested it and I spent a lot of money. I got leads, but I never converted anyone directly from LinkedIn. My conversion comes from doing these workshops. And so when I do the workshop, after the workshop, they do one-on-one appointments with me, and that's what I convert. But advertisement, that's going to be very expensive. I mean, you would need to spend a lot of money, and then even if you do, then you will have to, have a conversion of those leads. So getting those even leads, 10, 15, 20 leads. I mean, we are talking about easily 5,000 minimum, 5,000 per month budget, and you may not get anything. So it's very risky.
Okay, that's super helpful.
Okay, sure. Andrew, go ahead and mute yourself, please.
Hey everyone. So I'm probably getting a little bit ahead of myself because I don't even have a flip yet. But it was a discussion I saw in the Facebook group. I posted the question here in the chat. It was about Dodd-Frank Act and something about how you can't finance more than 3 properties. Otherwise, you become considered a lender, and then you have to be making sure that people are qualified to be able to pay the loans. Is that something you guys have addressed already in the course somewhere?
Yes, Scott has addressed this many
I was
times.
afraid of that.
Yeah, and it's on the forum and it's on many calls. And he's way more knowledgeable than I am about that. And honestly, this is what he said. He said, I wouldn't worry about that. People are not, they've actually been not a single case in the entire United States where somebody is actually being caught. So there's no like a service that goes out and looks for people who are doing this, right?
Okay.
But having said that, I would just listen to what Scott has to say on this. Like I said, if you search on school, I'm sure you'll get a whole bunch of posting. A lot of discussion has been done. But the answer what I've gotten from Scott is I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, I was wondering if Scott had like 55 LLCs or some ungodly
Yeah.
accounting nightmare to deal with, but okay,
No,
so
I would just listen to that first, and that will actually, since it's coming directly from him, that would be the best advice on that
okay.
part.
And have you guys done anything about trusts? Is anybody using trusts, or is that something I
Yes,
should
they
put that in
are.
there as well?
Again, there's a lot of information about
Okay.
that on school as well. And actually, Scott has invited not once, twice. And Major, if you can put, or you can just search on school, there was a presentation where he's called Mr. Trust. Is that right? Um, his name is Mr. Trust or something like that. And he came in and he did a presentation, and he has a full course that he sells people, and it was very good actually. So you may want to watch that video. Mr. Land Trust. Yeah.
Okay,
I
thanks.
think I think on school it's called it's in the module under legal. I feel like
Okay.
the module under legal there's three, and two of them they are very good that he discussed trust.
Mr. Land Trust, and also Ron LeGrand did a section on that too at the summit.
That's correct. Thank you. Yeah. So I would search for that. That's definitely, really good stuff there.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Sure. Sure. Okay. Does anybody else has any questions? All right. Again, this is where all the recordings are. This is the link for the newbie learning pod. There's this free private money lender course that you can do as well. And if nobody has any questions, then I'll see you all guys next week. Have a great week. Take care. Bye.